to Tyson Ross and the Padres. Tonight, all eyes are on Tyson's little brother Joe, who looks to return the favor and secure a much-needed win for the home team. The season series comes to a close on another beautiful night in D.C. One thing has been consistent around here lately, unbelievable baseball weather. It's another one of those kind of nights. There's Bryce. He loves the kids. They love him. He's always giving of his time. In fact, Harper's Heroes here at the ballpark tonight for the deciding game of this three-game series. Denard Span not in the lineup tonight. The reliable and often exciting Michael A. Taylor is. And speaking of reliable, a guy who looks like he's been in the big leagues for a number of years, Joe Ross, back out there tonight. He does not carry himself like a rookie.
No, he's been around it with his brother Tyson, and he's acted like it the first time he went to the mound. Tyson was here for his first start, and he was good again on Saturday. It's the fourth time this year he hasn't walked a batter in a start, and I think when you think about Joe Ross, you think about a guy that pounds the strike zone. He's not afraid. He gets strike one on a lot of hitters. Right-handers hitting 190 against him this year, and don't forget he went 51 major league hitters before his first walk, and now tonight he gets to show off for his older brother and show him what he's learned since the first time he saw him pitch in the big leagues.
Yeah, look at that home ERA, less than half of what it is on the road, 3-2 at home, and a 30-1. Let me repeat, 30-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's just been outstanding. Andrew Cashner, he's a guy with a great arm, started his career with the Cubs. Padres picked him up. He can really bring it, and he hasn't been able to always translate that to success at the big league level.
No, he's a guy that throws 97, 98 miles an hour. He's got a new grip on his slider. He used to guide it in there. Now he's letting it rip the slider almost at 90 miles an hour, so we'll keep an eye on that tonight. You got to make him throw strikes.
The big boys and their power bats have been on display in this series. Wilson Ramos went down and got one. He knew it was gone. Ryan Zimmerman has had a grand slam in this series, and the Nats have also had the misfortune of hearing from Justin Upton a couple of times. He's been slamming as well. Right now, the Nats, 127 homers, 6th in the National League. Who's going long tonight? Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by visitannapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. Gorgeous night right down South Capitol Street to Nationals Park, where the Nats this year are 34-25. It's a 3-2 homestand, and they've got to grab a whole bunch of these games before hitting the road next week. So it's just a few clouds in the sky. Things have cleared off nicely. Joe Ross getting ready. Humidity a comfortable 42. Temperature is 78 degrees. And some breezes blowing. The flag's not doing a whole lot, though, right now. And the way some of these big guys have been swinging the bats in the series, they don't need any breeze to hit one out of here. Joe's given up 7 home runs this year in 61 innings. So he'll face the San Diego lineup, 8th in the league in runs, 8th in home runs. Anthony Rendon, 11 of his last 18 plate appearances, he's now been on base. That's impressive. The Nats offense, well, they keep on walking, they keep on scoring. Had 5 runs last night, enough to win a ball game, couldn't pull it off. Padres have gone 10-4 since the 10th of August, and that, by the way, is the best record of any team in the National League West. So here come the Padres with Justin Upton leading the way against the Nationals since the start of 2 years ago. 14 homers, 31 RBIs total in his career. He's hit 16 against Washington, driving in 43. But you might notice Jed Jerko not in there, Matt Kemp not in there, and Derek Norris not in the lineup. Some potent right-handed bats sitting out against Joe Ross.
And only the second game that Matt Kemp has sat out all season long. You look at the arsenal for Joe Ross. Fastball average at 93, slider 84, changeup 87. Did not walk a batter for the 4th time this season in his last start. Righty's hitting 190 against Ross. Last time out against Milwaukee on the 22nd. Gave up just 1 run in 7 innings of 6 hit balls. Struck out 4, walked nobody through 82 pitches. Set the defense behind Joe for tonight's game. Worth, Taylor, Harper the outfield. Denard Span getting the night off. Desmond Escobar left side. Rendon Zimmerman right side. And Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
So Michael A. Taylor back in that number 8 spot. 23 RBIs in his last 31 games. And as we talked about before Denard came back, plenty of sock in that number 8 spot. Hunter Wendelstedt, he's the crew chief. 18th year in the big leagues. Has the plate. Marvin Hudson, David Rackley, Bob Davidson, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The Nats have won the season series from these guys, 4 games to 2 so far. But they really need to win this series. The Mets have Jonathan Neese. And the Phillies have Aaron Harang going tonight up the road. Outside, we're underway.
I texted the Phillies skipper tonight, Pete McCann. I said, we need a win out of you. Let's go.
That away.
I said, manage super hard tonight, okay?
Whatever contacts anybody has, put to the test. It's not what, but who you know. This is Travis Jankowski, the right fielder. 5 for 13 as a big league hitter in 5 ball games. He's a good buddy of Trey Turner's. They spent some time together in the minor leagues. And that's on the outside edge. 2 balls, 1 strike. Yeah, Trey said it was kind of fun to, early in his major league career, have his old organization come visiting. Jankowski, 24 years of age. Guides one left side, and Escobar, who is playing on the grass, gets a nice early touch to get the game going.
Talked to Trey today before the game in batting practice. Said, how's that pinch hitting treating you? He said, you know, it's something you don't do in the minor leagues. You know, when you're a prospect, you play every single day. Occasionally you get a day off and they'll pinch hit you late in the game, but it's something that younger players aren't used to doing, and it's something that even older players will tell you it never gets easy.
Here's Corey Spangenberg, who's 0 for 3 in the series. He's also 24. Out of Clark Summit, PA originally. Went to high school in Pennsylvania. Lives in Florida now, but he was heading for the U down in Miami when San Diego came calling. It's Joe Ross with some paint to the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Padres are 8 games back of the Dodgers, who won today. Another game of interest. Madison Bumgarner coming up big for the Giants as they were taking on the Cubs, and San Francisco hammered Chicago 9-1. So it's still 2.5 between the Dodgers and the Giants in the West.
Pretty good.
Great pitch by Ross.
Well, watch the body language of Joe Ross. You never see him show emotion. And watch after this pitch. He can't believe he didn't get that call.
Upstairs with mid-90s. 2 outs.
Tyson, his older brother, looking on at Joe Ross's first strikeout tonight, an elevated 95-mile-an-hour fastball past Corey Spangenberg. So maybe Spangenberg thinking about that slider. Got the fastball, and I think that was the key for Joe's last start. The velocity of his fastball up a tick from the previous start. It was 94-95 all game against the Brewers on the 22nd.
Third baseman Yangervis Solarte, strike 1. So Joe comes out firing. Solarte, an RBI, a couple of hits in this series. 4 hits in his last 3 games total.
And you kind of see what he's doing here early, establishing the fastball. And if you can get through an order once with maybe fastball changeup and you save your slider for second time around, you don't give him a sneak peek first time, now you're at a huge advantage.
Little chopper. Ross over to barehanded, squares up and fires, and he gets Solarte. That's an impressive 1-2-3 first inning. Jason Worth is the leadoff guy tonight. Will set the rest of the lineup when the Nats come up. Here at the ballpark. Everybody seems to really like the fact that Drew Storen's dog fits inside his glove.
Yeah.
That's the picture that I've heard talked about the most.
Danny Espinosa, Mr. February. Jose Lobaton, Mr. March. I didn't get one.
Here's Bryce batting third tonight. So with Denard Span not starting, a little tight in the back after a couple of starts. Worth leads off. Everybody bumps up. And then Michael A. Taylor slots in the number 8 spot tonight behind Wilson Ramos. The Nats have beaten Andrew Kashner 3 out of the 5 times he's gotten decisions. And he's 0-2 with a high ERA in this ballpark.
The fastball average is 95. It can get up to 98 miles an hour. Slider, maybe the best secondary pitch. Pretty good changeup around 88. He'll mostly stay away with the fastball. And if you remember the last time the Nats faced him, he really fell in love with his off-speed through a lot of off-speed pitches. I'm sorry, I'm still rattled that I didn't get my pet calendar today.
0-2 in a hurry. Low and away to Jason Worth, and Andrew Kashner comes out firing, and he's ready to fire as soon as he gets the ball back from Austin Hedges.
Well, that's his new slider. He changed a grip on it, and he's really throwing it hard. He was a guy that used to kind of shape the slider in there, started away, and Run it back over the plate to lefties. And now he's just throwing it. And if you watch the video of his last start, he threw a lot in the dirt. They were never really strikes.
Two-two pitch. Worth high in the air. Deep right center, but it's going to be caught short of the track by Melvin Upton for the first out.
So the defense for the Padres, Upton, Jankowski. The outfield, like I said earlier, Matt Kemp with only his second day off all season. Emerista Solarte left side, Spangenberg, Alonso right side, and Austin Hedges doing the catching. Melvin Upton Jr., formerly BJ Upton.
Anthony Rendon on that crazy on-base streak. And to go with the walks and getting on base, he's also 7 for his last 21. 1 for 4 career with a walk against hard-throwing Andrew Cashner, the 28-year-old San Diego starter. Tight slider, cutting away for the right-hander at 90. Anthony in this series, 3 hits and an RBI. Ball skipping in, counts even 2-2. Inside the numbers for Andrew Cashner, brought to you by STG. So very little run support. 0 or 1 runs from his teammates 13 times. Shelby Miller really having a rough go at Atlanta, and CeCe as well with the Yanks. Rendon reaching, and he pops it up. Back to the screen, Austin Hedges. And it's 1 row deep right over the top.
Well, there's nothing CC Sabathia can do about that because there's a designated hitter in the American League. But the other 2 guys, you got to bat, do something. You're hitting 9th when you pitch.
You got to bat.
You got to bat, do something. Give yourself some run support. You got that angle.
Two-two pitch. Nats start the night 5th in the league in runs, 6th in home runs. The batting average at .248 in the bottom 4. Mets did not score in the top of the first at Philadelphia.
Huh?
For a change. 2-2 pitch. Rendon pulls it, and it's knocked down. Bob Henley keeps it on the infield.
So even though last night was a rough one, the Nats have to win the series. And that's all there is to it. They're not going to win every single game the rest of the year. But if they can just put together a bunch of series wins, that's all you can control as a ball club. You can't control what the Mets are doing. So I think tonight, one of the more important games of the season. When you look at it from that aspect, just put a bunch of series wins together. And that's really all you can do. Maybe mix in a sweep if you're really starting to play some hot baseball, but concentrate on 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4.
2-2 with 1 out. Rendon with a good take. Having quite an AB here. 9 pitches, now 10, and that's strike 3. Fastball up in the zone, rang him up.
Well, Matt Williams can see high and low from the bench. You can't see if it was on the plate. Rendon thought it was high. Williams thought it was high, and it might have been outside. Pitch track had it hit in the top upper corner.
So here's Bryce Harper, 2 for 4 career with a walk and an RBI against Cashner, who bolts a 96 heater right in there. Bryce having another good series. 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and he has scored 3 runs against the Padres. He's on a 7-game hitting streak. Off speed, and he slammed it right down into his foot.
Pat Murphy's over in the Padres dugout saying that didn't hit his foot. I think this one did, though. Right off the shin guard, actually.
Power pitcher. Let's see what he does on 0-2. Infield shift on here. And Bryce guides it to left field. How about that for a 2-strike approach against a shift? And Bryce Harper has his 136th base hit.
Well, if you missed it the other night, I was talking about how Bryce just thinks about the top hand. Like he's got a sledgehammer in his left hand. I don't know many lefties in the major leagues that can get on top of a 97-mile-an-hour fastball like Bryce Harper just did and hit a line drive to left field. There's guys that can hit a fly ball to left field on that pitch, but did you see how he threw the top hand like he did have a sledgehammer in his hand and roll his wrist over and get on top of it? That's just, I mean, when it's that high of a velocity and the pitch is that high, it's just impossible for lefties to get on top. That was as impressive as a home run.
His share of hits to left field all year long. Ball blocked by Austin Hedges. Bryce nowhere to go. .333 batting average now, tying him with D. Gordon of Miami. And the Marlins will be here tomorrow.
You know what's even more impressive about that, Carb, is Bryce throws right-handed. So usually, you know, if you throw right-handed, hit right-handed, your right hand is your top hand, your strong hand. His isn't, and he still gets on top of the ball with that left hand.
Unbelievable season. 8-game hitting streak now with 12 hits. I wonder if we'll look up at this time next year and nobody's playing a shift on him anymore. 2-0 pitch. Escobar takes the fastball up. He's the 8th leading hitter in the league right now at 308.
Wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know it?
Oh, 3-0? Yeah. A count talked about a lot around town today.
So the 3-0 count to me is more of a mentality in the psychology of swinging at that pitch. When you're in a 3-0 count and you have a runner on third, you're not thinking about picking the runner up. You're thinking about, I'm going to swing really big, really hard and do some damage, and I'm going to pick myself up at home plate.
Right up the middle, off the mound into center. In to retrieve it, Melvin Upton. Harper stops at second. Back-to-back 2-out hits, and here comes Ryan Zimmerman.
Did I say there goes a no-hitter for Bryce? There goes a no-hitter for Bryce. But getting back to Escobar, you know, in a 3-1 count, he's thinking more about the middle into right field and picking up the runner from third. But in a 3-0 count, if you're not used to being in that situation and it's a big situation late in the game, you can become really excited as a hitter and say, 3-0 green light, here I go, I'm going deep.
Yeah.
And the harder you swing, you kind of tie yourself up a little bit. So it's more of the psychology of the 3-0 green light than do I swing or don't I swing? Am I comfortable in a 3-0 count? Am I going to swing at my pitch in a 3-0 count? Am I going to try to do too much in a 3-0 count if I've never been in that? And that was the first time had gotten the 3-0 green light all year. Or the first time he swung 3-0 all year.
Good swing back action by Cashner on that fastball to Ryan Zimmerman, who's 2 for 11 career against him, but Ryan has a home run and 3 RBIs against the right-hander. Zimmerman has driven in 6 runs in this series. That ball scorched out to center. Going back Upton. It is caught with his back to the infield. Melvin Upton robbing Ryan Zimmerman of 2 RBIs and either a double or a triple. And that's how the first inning ends.
I'll
say hey, huh?
Yeah, I didn't think he was getting to that over the shoulder. What a play by the Padres center fielder. Cashner with the big-time tip of the cap. Better catches we've seen in center field. And from our vantage point, watch him outrun the baseball. It's kind of the view we had. And it looks like it's over his head. You can't see the baseball right here. And he just takes that peek to find out where the wall is so that he knows he has room. And right over the left shoulder into the basket. Melvin Upton Jr. robbing Ryan Zimmerman of at least 2 bases.
Yeah, great play, and maybe style of the year by an opposing outfielder in this ballpark. Ryan, like, I thought I had 8 RBIs in this series, but not to be. Jose Valentin on the hearing end of that one. And we go to the top of the second with Upton, who gets to lead off. Melvin's brother in the left field, and then Alonso, and then the center fielder. 12 pitches, 8 strikes for Joe Ross, first inning. "22-year-old rookie making his 11th big league start." Inside again with a heater.
This is a battle tonight of whose brother is who. If Joe does better than Tyson last night, he went 6 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, struck out 9, walked 2. Then Tyson is Joe's brother.
Yeah.
If Joe doesn't do that well, then Joe's still Tyson's brother.
And then the Uptons trying to outdo each other, playing on the same team. And Justin is the Padres' first base runner. Inside, some more numbers brought to you by STG. Look at this deal. Now, the Nats in this 3-team trade basically gave up Steven Souza Jr. And that was about it. They got Joe Ross, Trey Turner just called up. Padres got Will Myers, who did start taking batting practice this week. He's had a bad left wrist all summer. Ryan Hannigan, who ended up in Boston. At least on the screen, and as they say on paper, it looks like a heist by Mike Rizzo.
You think he gets carded everywhere he goes, Trey?
I do believe he does.
Yeah. I mean, to get in the clubhouse.
Young man, you have a credential to get in here? Well, I'm not starting tonight, but I'm in uniform. Trey told me that it was cool to see some of the guys he knew from the minor leagues, because he said, I'm looking for anything I can to slow things down for me at this level. And he said, seeing some of my guys on the other side of the diamond has helped.
You always like to get a younger player in the lineup quickly so he doesn't sit around for a while and kind of be in awe of the situation. But, you know, the Nats can't afford to do that because they're trying to catch the Mets. They're in a pennant race. And, I mean, he might get a start here or there. But right now you gotta ride your horses and hope they get the job done.
1-1 count to Alonso, who jumps back from that one inside. Yonder Alonso 2 for 5 in the series. 28-year-old from Havana, moved to the United States with his family at the age of 10. Lives down in Doral, right outside Miami. Originally drafted by the Reds, came over in the Edinson Volquez Matt Latos deal 4 years ago. 2-1 pitch, and he hits one high in the air to right. Bryce Harper going toward the corner, looking at it, reaching. It's a fair ball when he makes the catch, and Justin Upton doesn't dare try and tag. 1 out.
The annual school supply drive is returning to Nats Park Sunday, August 30th. Bring new school supplies to Centerfield Gate. Items collected will benefit D.C. area students. For more details, go to nationals.com/community. You guys can have all my college books. They're still brand new. Haven't even opened them yet.
But if you have any leftover whiteouts, send it up here. Here's Melvin Upton. That's a great cause, trying to help out our kids. Please participate. Right now, Joe not missing by much, but he has fallen behind several hitters here. Upton 0 for 5 with a base on balls in this series. Padres heading to Philadelphia from here. And thus, as I said, not missing by much. Not a great ratio. But he's had good command. That ball hit extremely hard, and Bryce Harper right there thought about first base for a moment, and knowing that, Upton got back in a hurry. So Justin back to the bag. Melvin retired. 2 outs.
Low line drive. He was thinking about it. Justin Upton read it early enough to get back, but he was about halfway. You see where his cleat marks are when he planned to go back, right in the middle between first and second.
First time in the series we see the diminutive Alexi Amarista, 26-year-old shortstop from Venezuela.
Does that mean short?
5'6", 159.
Swings hard. He's got pop.
He does. Last year he hit 5 home runs. He has 3 this year with 27 RBIs. Originally signed with the Angels at the age of 16. Padres got him in a deal 3 years ago. Upton has stolen 18 bases in 22 attempts.
But on the 4 that he got caught, he was just a little diminutive of second base.
That's when you can use the word short.
Oh, all right. Like I said, I haven't opened my books.
Upstairs, 1-1. Amarista and all these Padres seeing Joe Ross big league level for the first time. That's a beauty. Brings 83 from outside right over the plate. Nissan will track it.
Started the slider off the plate, just broke it back to a corner.
So Rendon's a step or two onto the right field grass. Because of Amarista's speed, you see Escobar left side, right in the baseline between second and third. He won't be bunting here, but he could always get an infield hit, but not that time. Joe Ross spinning his second strikeout. Our Honda due-up, bottom of the second. 6, 7, 8 with Ian Desmond. Ian's on a roll. 296 his last 34 games. Ramos and Taylor right after him. Taylor, bottom of the second coming up. We have a moment in history brought to you by University of Maryland, University College. Roger Bresnahan, a right-hander, major league debut, shut out the St. Louis Browns 3-0. 4-0 record his first season. Then he was 18 years old and they made him a catcher. It took him all the way to the Hall of Fame. The Duke of Tralee switching. We had to go back into the 19th century to find something really cool that happened on August 27th.
It'd be cool if he caught his own game.
Well, I'm sure that when he called other guys pitches, he could say, hey, I never lost a game in the big leagues, buddy. Throw what I want you to throw. Desmond, that ball had some spin on it. Spangenberg picks it off with a good play.
Minus the borderline strike 3 on Anthony Rendon, the Nats have hit every single ball hard here tonight. And we don't know what the Miller moment of the game is going to be, but we're going to remind you right now to enjoy a cold one. Look forward to that later in tonight's game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite. Yeah, Worth hit the ball hard. Harper, Escobar, Zimmerman, and then Desmond. Everybody's squaring up Andrew Cashner here early.
.94 right in there to Wilson Ramos, who's 2 for 7 career with 3 RBIs against Cashner. He's got some run back action going with that fastball. Nats got him for 3 in the first at San Diego Saturday, May 16th. Escobar, Zimmerman, Ramos, first inning RBIs. Bryce Harper had a 10-pitch single, long at bat to help set up that inning, but Cashner dealing here tonight. Strikeout number 2. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Yeah, a lot of run to that fastball, not sink, but it's moving from left to right, from his glove side back across the plate.
Michael A. Taylor back in the lineup for the first time since the weekend. Last ball game was on Sunday. He went 0 for 3 with a walk, but scored a run. And Michael A. still has racked up 7 home runs, 23 RBIs in his last 31 games.
Fouled run right back at the robo camera. Went right into your living room.
Showed bunt and evidently didn't pull the bat back in time. Strike 2.
I think they called it a strike.
Yeah.
He pulled his bat back.
You're right. Front door up and in. Cashner upset with himself on 0-2. Evidently he wanted this inning over in a hurry. And Taylor gets down and away to stay alive there.
Did a bird fly by his hat? What we got working there?
I don't know.
Did he get dive bombed?
Chopper third base way. Solarte on the move. And a 1-2-3 second inning for Andrew Cashner. That'll force Joe Ross to lead off next inning. No score. Both pitchers looking good.
I'd probably throw him a lot of sliders, and because the last thing I want is him to hit a home run off me and then hold that over me for the rest of my life, most likely. But yeah, I mean, however it goes, it'd be a lot of fun.
Joe Ross telling Dan Kolko about facing his brother if it ever happens, pitcher and hitter. And when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. That's our Coons.com sideline report from Tyson's little brother. So they miss each other by one night for the Padres, top of the third. Hedges, Cashner, and Jankowski, 8-9-1. Big brother had a good night last night, 6 1/3, 4 runs, 6 hits. Got a lot of run support. And his record is now 9-9. '23-year-old catcher Austin Hedges, 2 for 4 in the series, hitting a .196 on the year. That's the location Joe Ross has been looking for with that fastball. 27 pitches, 14 strikes, first 2 innings, but all he's given up is a walk. He did give up a hard hit ball to Upton Melvin last inning, right at Bryce Harper. And tonight, Hunter Wendelstedt likes that strike up in the zone.
Hedges had a nice night last night. Hit the ball hard 3 times, 2 for 4.
Got him on 3 pitches, and that was a beauty at 85, diving down and away, and that's 3 Ks.
Yeah, the late break on the slider. Right there, you're thinking as a hitter, that's a fastball all the way. And then when you start your swing, you're realizing, okay, I'm seeing the rotation late. That's a slider. I try to extend my swing and put it in play. But based on seeing Joe Ross for a while right now, it seems like hitters are picking up that slider late.
Andrew Cashner, 5 hits and RBI this year. Yeah, rare walk early in the game by Joe. Cashner can hack. He's a 172 career hitter. That one got Wilson Ramos. Hunter Wendelstedt came flying out from behind him to throw Joe a new baseball and maybe give Wilson a moment.
It's a strong mullet that Cashner's got going, I'll tell you what. Strong. And he's got the Santa Claus starter kit beard going.
0-2 pitch. Little tapper right in front of the plate. Wilson Ramos tells Ross, I've got it. To Zimmerman, 2 outs. A lot of numbers for you tonight. STG now, and the Mets have opponents left, compiling a .440 winning percentage. The Nats just above that. So these are the teams that have the remaining schedules, and 4 of the 5 of the easiest are in the National League East. STG with interesting numbers. The Mets are scoreless at Philadelphia, bottom of the 2nd. Take care of your own business is all Matt Williams Ball Club can do, and hope somebody takes care of New York.
.95 with lots of movement tonight, coming out easy for Joe Ross. And what's an easy 95? I mean, you watch the effort level. A lot like Blake Trinan.
Out to short, 1 hop, Ian Desmond. Bangs it over to first, throws out the speedy Jankowski. And a great inning for Ross. He's retired 9 out of 10. On to the bottom of the third, and Joe Ross leads off. Cashner ready. Inside, ball one. As a rookie hitter, Joe 2 for 23. Couple of sacrifice bunts.
Well, Tyson was 2 for 2 last night with the sacrifice.
Uh-oh. Somebody's got to get their evens tonight.
Can you stop comparing them? Stop it.
Yeah, but if they don't pitch against each other, then what stat do they have to go to other than the hits?
I don't think Joe liked that call, and I think Joe's thinking to himself, he won't tell Hunter Wendelstedt that I'll definitely take that one.
Wow. That'll turn a count around and force you to swing at something outside. 3 Ks for Andrew Cashner. First time through the order. The Nationals go 2 for 9.
You come to the yard tomorrow, you get a free T-shirt. So I suggest if you're one of the first 25,000 fans, you just don't wear a shirt. You get one when you come in the gate. Wow. Visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets right now. Marlins in town tomorrow night, 7:05.
I don't know. I think there's a sign out of the center field gate that says no shoes, no shirt, no shirt.
I see that.
Jason Worth hit the ball pretty well out to right center first time. Melvin Upton ran it down. Right now, evidently the fastball strikes are inside edge, not out. Pretty good pitch, 2-0. Time given, requested by Worth. Cashner, as mentioned earlier, working really fast and efficiently here tonight. Took a little bit off and the ball dove. 3-0.
2-0 changeup.
Yeah. A guy who likes 3-0 taking all the way. Worth, base hit, right field. Stayed inside that one, let it get deep, and the Nats have their third hit. Barring a double play now, Bryce Harper bats in this inning.
Well, 96-mile-an-hour two-seamer chasing Jason Worth, and if he's thinking about pulling this pitch, he might break his bat. There's not a whole lot you can do with that to the pull side, but he got his hands inside, barreled to the baseball, and shot it through the right side for the third hit of the night for the Nats. That's a good swing.
Nats about hit San Diego 3-0. Rendon caught looking first time on a fastball up. That was our first clue that at bat that Hunter Wendelstedt might have a high strike zone tonight. He went off speed on 0-1. There it is again, that high fastball up at the ceiling of the strike zone. Back in the day, that was always a strike in the American League. The umpires had the outside chest protector, that huge balloon they used to wear. We just don't see that a whole lot anymore.
I'm not sold on high and low on pitch track. I'm sorry. It doesn't adjust to the different hitters' heights. So it could be in the box, but you're watching where Austin Hedges is catching it. He's reaching up by his mask. Anytime you see a catcher reach up to his mask to catch a ball, it's usually a clue to an umpire that it's high, no matter who's catching it. You know, east and west, you know, the plate's the plate. Pitch track nails it every time. But up and down, sometimes I feel like taller hitters, shorter hitters have different vertical strike zones. I mean, if Alexi Amarista's up there and it's in the box, it might be neck high. That's why sometimes you wonder about the high ones.
3-2 with one out. Worth holding. Rendon pulls it. No score, bottom of the third. Nats have hits from Harper, Escobar, and in this inning, Worth. Then Rendon lets one get deep, and off to the right side it goes. Right up the middle. That ball scorched. And what's the call? No, it's no catch. Now we have confusion on the base paths as the umpires took a long time to make that call. And it turns in to Jason Worth being tagged out between first and second. And Matt Williams is out there in a hurry.
He's got a legitimate gripe. Jason Worth was looking to second base umpire David Rackley. He gave him no indication. Third base umpire Bob Davidson at the very end of the play said safe. Jason Worth, if you watch the replay, was rolling his head finding umpires to get a call. He was stuck in no man's land. He didn't get a call from the closest umpire, the second base umpire. It was the third base umpire, Bob Davidson, that made the safe call. And, you know, quite honestly, Jason Worth did everything you're supposed to do as a base runner right here. The call was very late, on top of it being the third base umpire by Bob Davidson.
And if you're wondering, it's nothing unusual for a corner umpire at first or third to make out or safe calls on balls hit to center field.
Why?
Second base umpire's got the runner right next to him and keeping an eye on things around the bases. But, you know, and I'm not saying it makes a lot of sense, but you see it happen a lot.
Well,
and that's a long way to look, FP, for an umpire to make that call.
Well, if I'm around the bases, I'm looking at the second base umpire. He's the closest to the play. He's the guy that's standing behind second base.
Now I wonder, I saw home plate umpire Wendelstedt point to first base. Have they called the hitter out, or is it Worth? And evidently Jason Worth is going back to the dugout. And now the Padres think that Melvin Upton caught that ball on a fly, and they probably want a double play here. But you are right. There was a long, long pause before a call was made.
All right, let's see. Did he catch it, first of all?
No.
Okay.
So Davidson call was correct. But
so watch Jason Worth at the top of the screen. Watch him. He's looking for a call. The call was made as he started to run back at the very end. You can't see Bob Davidson in that shot. But he's looking at David Rackley, got nothing. Then he looked to Bob Davidson. And at the very end, at the last minute, Bob Davidson said safe. I watched the whole thing right here take place from the booth, and there's nothing you could do if you're Worth except for get a better call, a quicker call.
It's one of those crazy things where everything's moving so fast, and Jason Worth tagged out between first and second on the Rendon base hit. So that just simply went 8-3 with a tag at the end.
Fielder's choice.
So Rendon, I guess, loses a hit on that, huh?
He does.
Wow. Crazy. 1-0 to Bryce Harper. They flip-flop Solarte and Amarista on the shift, so it's the shortstop right now who's home on the left side of the infield alone.
So you're telling me the third base umpire who's furthest away from the plate makes that call?
I've seen it a lot. It's almost always one of the corner umpires who makes the call either in center field or on his side of the field. And I've seen it happen time and time again, FP, over the years. So that must be the way the umpires rotate it. Well, you would think.
In all my years of playing, I was looking at the wrong umpire then for that call.
Yeah, because I saw it earlier this year with the first base umpire making a call way out in right center when you'd think it was the second base ump. Price, did he hold? He did not. 3-2.
I'm gonna check it out from the side. And pretty far. Caught a cleat.
Yeah, Anthony Rendon will be running on this play. Alonso playing in front of him. Harper takes a walk, his 93rd of the year. So the Nats still have a chance to salvage a run or more in this inning with Escobar coming up. Into the 8 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park. No score. A lot going on in this inning. The Nats have 4 hits, but only 3 of them count.
Dan just didn't show up today. I don't know where he is.
So it's just BCFP.
Yeah.
Or for those of you who watch because of the analyst, FPBC. It's all right. It's all good. The Nats trying to get on the board here. 3rd inning. Escobar, solid single up the middle, first time up. Into right. Picking that one up is Jankowski. Frustrating 0. Goes up on the board for the Nats in a strange 3rd inning. Here and probably FP trying to explain the quandary such a play puts the base runner into. 3 of the umps.
Well, he's asking, who do I look for? I've been playing this game a long time, and I was looking at all you guys and didn't get a call. What you couldn't see from the replay is that Wirth was almost all the way back to first base when Bob Davison finally called a safe call on that. And that's just way too late.
Top of the 4th inning, Corey Spangenberg for the Padres. He'll bunt. It's fair. Ramos pounces and throws, and he threw it right into the runner. It goes down the line. It'll have to be picked up by Bryce Harper, and a runner going to third, and he will make it if he stays on the bag. So that'll be most probably a base hit and a 2-base error. Bottom line is Padres runner at third, nobody out.
Well, he rushed the throw because of Spangenberg's speed, so Ramos throws it on the run, throws a nasty sinker to Ryan Zimmerman. Nothing he could do. You saw where the ball was. It was in foul territory. And then Bryce Harper hustling down the corner. By the time he gets there, Spangenberg all the way into third base with a bunt single and a 2-base error. Probably better off not throwing that.
Quite a way to break up a ball game with no hits, huh?
Are they going to look and see if Spangenberg came off the base? I know Escobar left the tag on him when he slid, and if he popped off the base, that might be what Matt Williams wants to challenge.
I think you're right. Since it's the third base umpire, they summoned first. Only other thing I could think of was if Spangenberg was not in the baseline going to first. But usually they don't make the call unless the throw hits the runner.
Okay. I think you may be right. And I think that's what Matt Williams was talking about. Where was the runner in relationship to the baseline, running to first base? And did Ramos have a throwing lane? And I just think Wilson threw it to the right. See where Spangenberg is right here. And he's right down the line. Couldn't see where he was earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe out of the box he was inside, but when the throw was made, he was right on the line.
Infield in. Yangervis Solarte, the hitter. And he jacks one to right center. Taylor looking at it. He will have it about 10 feet in front of the scoreboard, and Corey Spangenberg can just trot on home. Padres take the lead on Solarte's 51st RBI. The only good news out of all this, the Phillies just dropped a 5 spot on the Mets in the 3rd inning. One out, base is empty. Justin Upton. Ball breaking beautifully at 86.
Well, you get the feeling that the Nats are having some really good at-bats off Cashner here. It's just a matter of time. And you have to score to win anyway, so that's really not that big a deal. You don't like to give a run away, but still.
Upton and Alonso, the next 2 Padres here, 4th inning.
That was by design. Gio Gonzalez struck Upton out a few times last night on high fastballs.
And Justin in this series came in 2 for 8 with a couple of homers, but half of his at-bats have been strikeouts. And that's right in there. He did not get what he was guessing. 2 outs. And for Ross, strikeout number 4.
Locked him up with the slider off the fastball above his eyes. Changes the eyesight. This one down. And obviously Justin Upton thinking about a fastball. He got the slider. Good pitch.
Ball one to Yonder Alonso. Fly ball to Harper first time. Darren Ruff hit his 6th home run of the year to key that 5-run Philadelphia 3rd inning. 2 balls, 1 strike. And a 2-out walk to get it to Melvin Upton. Ross with a rare 2nd walk in a ball game.
Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo using hashtag NatsCouchCam. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast that's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Melvin Upton hit that hard line drive at Bryce Harper first time.
And he's the reason it's 1-0 Padres. That over-the-shoulder catch, Robin Ryan Zimmerman, that was 2 runs.
Yeah. And if he doesn't get a good jump and come in on that laser last inning, the Nats might have scored in the 3rd as well. Rendon, you couldn't hit a ball any harder than he did. This game is cruel sometimes. One ball, 1 strike. That thing started over the plate and ended up way out there. Quite a break on that one from Joe Ross.
Yeah, one of the better sliders tonight. Really got on top of this one, and you see when Upton's deciding to swing, it looks like it's not going to break that much.
1-2. Able to reach that one to stay alive.
I'm not sure how Melvin does it, but BJ, when he was with the Braves, just kind of designated he was going to swing on certain pitches. You could just see it. It was almost like he wasn't seeing the baseball, and I think the Braves tried everything with him. He was wearing different colored night vision glasses, all kinds of different tricks.
Well, he just never got it going in Atlanta. Swing and a miss. Hit 184 his first season there. So an unearned run for the Padres. The Nats have Zimmerman, Desmond, and Ramos coming up. twists and turns. So far, here's Ryan Zimmerman. Robbed of at least a double, certainly 2 RBIs, and you never know, maybe 3 or 4 bags that first time up on the play by Melvin Upton out in deep center field. A Willie Mays type over the shoulder catch with his back to the infield. 0-2. Cashner, not a low pitch count, 61 pitches in 3 innings, but he's kept the Nats off the board so far with some good defense behind him. Zimmerman hammers one the other way. Upstairs, 1-2. Travis d'Arnaud just hit his 9th of the year. The Mets get 2 in the 4th against the Phillies, but still trail by 3. 1-2 to Zimmerman. What a take, and that was close. Mercedes-Benz with the entire leadoff at bat here, 4th inning. That pitch number 5 was outside.
Hasn't really thrown that slider for a strike all night. Just been going straight into the dirt, and that's what he did his last start out of. But he only gave up 1 run to the Cardinals in 6 innings.
That was last Friday. They won the first 2 games of that series. And Zimmerman will be called out on that mid-90s fastball. Cashner, 4th strikeout tonight.
Well, he's had good command of that run-back fastball to right-handers to the glove side. He's been just teasing the outside corner of the plate with it. And out of the hand, it looks like it's going to be way outside, but it's got so much run back that it's catching the corner.
Here's Ian Desmond. Corey Spangenberg, second baseman, really plays him up the middle, and he bounced out to him first time up. That thing boring up and in, and Ian's bat making contact with the ball there.
Yeah. Did that get him in the leg too on the ricochet?
I don't know. Matt Williams coming out. Steve Gober coming out from the dugout as well, as Ian Desmond comes up lame after that ball.
Did it get him in the hand? Let's see. Yeah, might have pinched his left pinky along with hitting the bat.
And then maybe the manager and the hitter are questioning whether it should be hit by a pitch and not a foul ball. I mean, if Ian's hurting, it means the ball, part of the ball at least, got him.
Well, he's not really lobbying to go to first, other than he's in pain and it hit his pinky.
So the count appears to be 1-2.
A lot of the bat and a little bit of the hand. Here's a sound.
Yeah, it sounded like the bat.
But he was limping out of the box.
I know,
that's why I was lost right there.
You're right. And then look what he does. So Ian Desmond has his third hit of this series. The Nationals have their fourth of the night.
Another nice piece, and you know that has to be the game plan for right-handers against Cashner here today. Everything's been away. Slider away, fastball away. Nice piece of hitting right there by Ian Desmond.
Wilson Ramos, Michael Taylor, the next two. Ramos has 2 career hits, 3 RBIs against Cashner. Desmond starting, then stopping, and now he's all systems go on a wild pitch.
Yeah, that's that spike slider again. The Cashners had trouble keeping in the air, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then Ian Desmond seeing it kick away from Austin Hedges. Advances to second base, so a free 90 feet. Wilson Ramos trying to tie this thing up.
Wilson 6 for his last 16 with 4 RBIs in 4 games. Time given.
So I have 15 hitters before Wilson Ramos and 9 hard hit balls by the Nats tonight.
I'd say your count is right on, and something is about to happen. Something good. And Ramos had a let's go up 2-1 count type cut there.
Well, these are the kind of guys that the Nats usually handle, the guys with the mid-90s fastballs. It's the guys with the mid-80s fastballs, the BHS guys below hitting speed, that'll give a lot of teams difficulties.
Ramos a chopper. That one hit him in the leg. Andrew Cashner career record 25-38. First year with the Cubs, 2010, 53 relief appearances. San Diego turned him into a starter. 10-9 2 years ago. Injuries last year limiting him to 19 starts. He went 5-7. That one skips into the mitt of Austin Hedges.
And I think you're seeing why Austin Hedges is catching here tonight. You know, 2 hits last night, and Derek Norris is a guy that is more of a glove guy back there where he'll block with his glove. He's a picker. And Austin Hedges is more of a blocker where he'll get in front of the baseball. And with all those spiked curveballs that Andrew Cashner threw his last start, that's probably why they put him back there. He's done a nice job.
2-2 pitch with 1 out. Ramos busted bat. Amarista will throw him out. Ian Desmond over to third base on the second out of the inning. Now they can choose how they want to pitch to or not pitch to Michael A. Taylor.
Well, I mean, you could throw him sliders here, but Cashner's shown that he can't throw it in the air, so I think they're just going to put him straight on. I mean, with a guy that has a propensity to strike out or chase sliders, sometimes you'll see if you can make him fish, but in a 1-0 game and that slider hasn't been close for a strike, they're going to put Michael Taylor on. Don't want to throw it to the screen and tie the ball game up.
Ball 3.
All right, this is under the category of you have a bat, do something.
Joe Ross. Good time for your first big league RBI.
Yep. Here we go.
I'm told we can't show intentional walks on pitch track because they wouldn't show up in the screen. So here comes Joe, 2 hits on the year. Big brother has 3 RBIs this season, 6 in his career. Remember, there was a disputed strike call when Joe was in there first time on a pitch inside. And Joe gave Hunter Wendelstedt that look as if to say, okay, I'll take that when I'm pitching. But that turned a count around from 2-1 to 1-2. Then he struck out.
He's got a good swing.
And there's a pretty good swing to the left side. And Solarte all the way across. So the Nats have now stranded a half-dozen base runners in a 1-0 game after 4. What's up with a raccoon on the field knocking down our presidents? Well, evidently, during his White House years, Calvin Coolidge had a pet raccoon that originally was going to come and be eaten for Thanksgiving in 1926, but the raccoon was so friendly and tame, kept as a pet.
Oh, nothing says Thanksgiving Day like a raccoon on your table.
I know. You know, thank goodness they decided to have it as a pet, or we all might be eating raccoon every year.
Well, who doesn't eat raccoon for Thanksgiving?
Hey, let's talk about Bryce Harper. His Harper Heroes kids are here tonight. In 2013, Bryce partnered with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And Harper's Heroes provides kids who are battling cancer or who have beaten cancer and their families with the opportunity to come to a ball game, get some free food and drink, attend batting practice, and meet with Bryce before the game. So, Bryce Harper, you are the man for those kids, and congratulations. Now in its 3rd year, Harper's Heroes.
Super cool. And they had raccoon for lunch.
Oh. Thank you, Calvin, for not. Well, let's move on to the 5th inning. Alexi Amarista struck out first time up. .53 pitches. 32 strikes for Joe, and he goes 2-0 on Alexi Amarista.
It's so important for Joe Ross to keep it 1-0. I mean, as a ball club, when you battled back last night and just fell short, you don't want to dig yourself another hole to climb out of here tonight and try to come back again. You know, 1-0. Okay, you got to score to win anyways. That's not a big deal. At least that's your thought process as a ball club. But if it starts getting any more, 2, 3, 4, now you might get that here we go again mentality going, and it just, you know, it's a mental grind about having to play from behind.
Mm-hmm. Three balls, one strike. Ball slapped to the right side. Amarista had some healthy hacks in that at bat. Anthony Rendon takes care of it, and that's big with the bottom of the order batting here in the 5th inning.
Should we go all Revenge of the Nerds, Carp, and just like dress like those guys for the Open on Saturday, August 29th?
You know anybody named Wiedemeyer? Hey, we do. Wiedemeyer.
All right.
I didn't know Mark was in that film.
Special ticket purchases. You can receive Washington Nationals brand Rubik's Cube while supplies last. Get exclusive access to the 80s tribute band, The Leg Warmers. Go to nationals.com/80s night for more info. Glove on the head. Not going to work there. Heads up.
That's Austin Hedges, the catcher, taking that swing. And Bryce gave some folks sitting above the bullpen a souvenir where they would probably never get a fly ball, way under that overhang out there. He is just a constant ambassador for this ball club. One ball, one strike to the number 8 hitter. Padres still only have one base hit tonight, and they didn't swing to get it. There's a busted bat. Down to Escobar. 2 outs with the pitcher coming up.
Good sinker right there.
For the Achiever in PNC Bank with our sort of minor league report. So Tyler Moore and Dan Ugla in 2 ball games, on base a couple of times, scoring a run. Dan, 4 runs, 4 RBIs. Those guys will be a couple of bats with power to add on to this roster 5 days from now. Both right now getting it done at Potomac.
Well, that promo wasn't kidding when it says the Peanuts are making a playoff push.
How about that?
We'll add Tyler Moore, Dan Ugla, and Tanner Roark.
Yeah. He'll be checking back in on Tanner in 3 or 4 days when he makes that second start down there. And that'll tie into the guy on the mound for the Nats right now. I knew you did some checking around before the game, FP. There's no real number of innings being thrown out there for Joe Ross right now, but we hear that the end is coming fairly soon because of his minor league and major league innings.
Yeah, I don't know when. They haven't said, so I don't know what fairly soon means. And you know, nobody really said fairly soon. They just said there's a inning limit, and we'll all see what it is.
1-2 pitch, and Escobar will cut it off. In the National League, that's the kind of inning you want against the bottom of the order. Joe gets it done, top of the order for Washington. think Ryan Zimmerman's expression, as usual, says it all. Probably some admiration for a great play, but a lot of frustration to go along with it. So top of the order, bottom of the fifth in a 1-0 game.
Third time around, it's about that time. Some of these line drives, Nats are hoping start dropping.
And Cashner didn't get that one to swing back to the corner. Jason Worth, a fly ball to center. Base hit right field, second time up in the series. 2 for 11 with a couple of walks. 2 for 10 actually. And that's low and away, ball 2. Cespedes and Kelly Johnson have homered, and it's now 5-5, fifth inning in Philly. Phillies led 5-0. Close again, 3-2.
Just nibbling out there, isn't he? You know, he threw strike 2 on the corner. Watch the pitch before, pitch number 4, and then he tries to just expand a little further, a couple more inches out there at pitch number 5. And it was off the plate, but he was trying to either get Worth to chase or get the call.
Nissan on the pitch track showed it outside, but a good take by the hitter, and there's another one. Jason Worth is on for the second time. Second non-intentional walk by Andrew Cashner. And with that happening, it's the first time tonight the Nationals put their leadoff man aboard.
A perfect opportunity for Anthony Rendon to hit that hole now between first and second. You got a leadoff man out there. Cashner's been throwing fastballs middle away to all right-handers all night. So now you're thinking about right in that hole you're looking at by Jason Worth.
Anthony Rendon struck out looking first inning, seemingly singled to center in the third inning, but Jason Worth had nowhere to go as the umpires were late with that base hit call, and so he got saddled with a fielder's choice and a ball that he really hit great. Target in, throw to first, Worth back. There he is, serving one to right. Worth approaching second. Jankowski got to the ball in a hurry. And the Nats have something starting here in the fifth inning.
That's just a beautiful piece of hitting. It's not that easy. That hole over there can become a trap door at times, where as a hitter you're trying to hit it and you hit right into a 4-6-3 double play or a 3-6-3 double play. But that was perfection by Anthony Rendon. And I think the fact that Jason Worth had to hold up and let the ball go by held him from going to third. Nice piece of hitting by Anthony.
Well, the real game situation here now. 2 on, nobody out, Bryce Harper. In terms of on-base percentage, another perfect night, single-double. Bryce was on with a walk and 2 hits last night. A double and a walk in the first game of the series Tuesday. Deep inside the numbers. So Dee Gordon has a hit tonight. Bryce Harper has a hit and a walk. And that's the 2 guys with Goldschmidt right behind, battling for a batting championship.
I think that last swing you just saw by Rendon was why he's so successful last year, because Denard Span was on in front of him all year. He wore that hole out just like that.
Bryce, a fantastic at bat first inning. 2 strike counts, served one in the left against the shift for a base hit. They can only shift so much here because of the runners aboard, so Amarista, the shortstop, has to hang out behind Jason Worth. Late swing on a mid-90s fastball upstairs.
Well, you could see where he's looking after the swing. He was trying to hit that ball to short. We saw him do that already in the homestand, have some success trying to go the other way. But with that shift, you can tell where a hitter's thinking after the swing.
Harper does it again on a 2-strike count. Bob Henley will hold Jason Worth, and Bryce Harper is putting on a hitting clinic every night here. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Well, you could tell on the swing before that he was thinking about hitting the ground ball to shortstop. He swung, he looked right out at short, and he gets another fastball away, another top hand, and just hits it right where the shift isn't. So what Anthony Rendon just did and what Bryce Harper just did is not that easy, folks. You can't steer a baseball, but they both just did into the exact spot they both wanted to hit it, back to back. Impressive.
I mean, we are witnessing one of the great years any player has had in recent memory. Batting average, homers, RBIs, runs. At the age of 22, Bryce Harper is amazing. And here's Escobar. He's hit it hard twice, 1 for 2. '96 inside. One nothing San Diego. The Nats have out hit the Padres 6-1. Escobar, and that is just on the left side of the bag.
Jason Worth in foul territory, and that's why you get in foul territory. If the ball hits you, for those of you that don't know, it's a foul ball. If you're in fair territory and it hits you, you're out.
Right-hander Kevin Quackenbush getting ready in a hurry.
See, this is where you like Yunel Escobar to think up the middle the other way. It's when he's at his best with runners in scoring position, when he's got that inside-out swing going.
Well, he didn't like the call. He was saying no, no, no. And Hunter Wendelstedt gave the call to Cashner on that breaking pitch.
Big strike left.
Two-two.
I think Cashner has that two-seamer in if he wants to go there. Couple of sliders down the way. He's got Escobar leaning.
Yeah, in to out on every pitch. Escobar, he got hit. Down he goes. The game is tied. And now we're concerned about our third baseman. First base is where Hunter Wendelstedt was pointing. And Escobar goes down on a pitch that really got away.
See, that was a little bit Cashner and a little bit Yunel. He was diving out there for that slider again to cover it. And the two-seam fastball was on the inner half, ran right toward him. And a tough way to tie this game up, but the Nats will take it. Line moving here in the fifth.
RBI for Escobar, his 42nd.
See where I got him. Yeah, right on the top hand. But if you look where Austin Hedges was going to catch that ball, it wasn't that far off the plate. It's just that Escobar's on top of the plate. He was diving for the slider away, meaning he's leaning out there. And we've seen him get hit a number of times in similar fashion.
And Steve Gober still helping him out. Matt Williams alongside. Yunel Escobar has now been hit by 8 pitches this year. By far the most on the ball club. Ryan Zimmerman robbed of 2 RBIs already tonight. Had a sac fly with the bases loaded last night. And he sent everybody home with a home run, bases loaded, the night before. Nobody out. Tie game, bottom 5.
See, if you're paying attention as a hitter tonight, you know that Cashner's thrown that slider in the dirt, and you know that he doesn't want to throw it here in the dirt. So you might get one up hanging out over the plate.
He doesn't get the call on the heater.
That, or he just won't throw it. So, you know, veteran hitters are noticing that throughout the course of the game. He's spiking his slider. I'm looking for a fastball up, slider up, and I'm thinking big part of the park.
Nobody out in the 5th inning, and pitch number 100 coming. Zimmerman up the middle, base hit. Rendon scores. Here comes Harper. It's a good throw, and Bryce is out at the plate. Melvin Upton's defense, fantastic tonight. Right on target. The Nets take the lead. But Bryce Harper thrown out at the plate.
Now, we were in Philly last time, and Mike Schmidt was doing a game for the Phillies on a Sunday. And I caught him in the middle of the game, and he said, I think Ryan Zimmerman is the best hitter with runners in scoring position I've ever seen. Wow. Coming from Mike Schmidt, that's saying a lot. And we've seen it throughout the years, and that was pretty close at home, by the way. Great throw by Melvin Upton. And a nice tag by Austin Hedges, just getting Bryce Harper on the knee before his hand hit.
2 on Washington. Still only 1 out. Runners at 1st and 2nd for Desmond. Ian goes up hacking. And Ryan Zimmerman has 56 runs batted in. That's now the 2nd highest total on the team. And he's only played in 85 games. Now Desmond's going to have to run one out here. And that was a pretty smart play by the shortstop, Amarista. Looked like the throw pulled him off the bag, so he decided to tag the runner.
That's a very smart play. He got bases loaded, 1 out. And Wilson Ramos hit and watch. He doesn't get the bag, so what does he do? He tags Ryan Zimmerman, who's already going toward him to break up the double play. Take the out. Smart play.
I tell you, the Padres, without some of the defense they played tonight, would be down 3 or 4 runs at least.
I bet you Danny Espinosa's getting loose down there somewhere. His hand looks like it's all swollen.
There's Wilson Ramos. Still 2-1. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. And Andrew Cashner not fooling any of the Nats hitters here.
Hasn't really all night. Is that Derek Norris?
Vinny and Desmond on a delayed steal just walk into second base for his 12th of the year.
Yeah, big leg kick from Cashner, and Desmond with a huge jump. And Wilson Ramos has a chance to make this a 4-1 ball game.
Ramos all locked up on strike 1. 3 hits, a walk, a hit batter, a steal in the inning. Wilson Ramos trying to get the Nats a big crooked number here, but it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Calls him out.
Late call.
Hunter Wendell set, with just that. Another pitch up in the zone. Let's have a look where it was, out toward the outside corner. And the Nats will have a 2-run inning. That ball was not strike 3, but Hunter Wendelstedt says it was. So the Nats pick up a couple. RBIs by Escobar and Zimmerman. He's real close to having 4 RBIs tonight. The Nats make a couple of changes because Escobar has come out. Anthony Rendon moves to third base, top of the 6th. Danny Espinosa, the new cleanup hitter, is at second base.
Well, you hope Escobar's okay, but from a 1-run lead and your defense maybe getting a little bit better with Espinosa at second and Rendon at third.
And a footnote on Ryan Zimmerman: in this series, he has 7 runs batted in, and he has 2 hits. He's brought him in with a grand slam, sac fly, base hit tonight, ground ball last night. So Joe Ross has a lead. 65th pitch is his 40th strike. He's retired 6 of the last 7 Padres.
Yeah, that wasn't Mike Smith in Philadelphia that said that. That was Mike Schmidt. He kind of knows what he's talking about.
I mean, he was one of the great RBI guys ever. 500 home runs plus. What a compliment.
Michael Jack Smith. Nope. It was the Hall of Famer.
Some high gas from Joe Ross. The box score for the Padres: 1 unearned run, a leadoff bunt hit in the 4th by Corey Spangenberg, went all the way to third on a throw by Wilson Ramos down the line, and then Solarte brought him in with a sac fly. 2 walks, and that's been it. Got him looking. 83 coming in from outside. Joe Ross, strikeout number 6.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that bunt, we'd be talking about a no-hitter right now. That's how good Joe Ross has been here tonight. Backdoor slider for strike 3. Or we wouldn't have been talking about a no-hitter, however you want to put it.
Correct. Well, Joe started the game with only 14 of his first 27 pitches in the zone. But about the 3rd inning, he got this thing turned around. He's been firing strikes ever since.
Heard a phone. Which one is it? Matt's bullpen.
It looked like Matty LeCroy just answered a call out there.
Whatever that ringtone is in both bullpens, the fact that we can hear it all the way up here.
With a crowd?
With a crowd. I want that on my iPhone.
1-2 pitch. Hit into right. Bryce Harper right there. 2 outs. Joe Ross is scheduled to bat second in the bottom of the 6th. But nothing from the pitching standpoint indicates that he's in any kind of trouble area here.
You want a nesting doll? I thought you did. The first 25,000 fans, you get one on September 3rd against the Braves. That's a 7:05 start. It goes to Max Scherzer, Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, Mini Chad Cordero, Mini Frank Robinson. 100 lucky fans find a golden ticket. Also receive a limited edition 10-piece nesting doll. Visit Nationals.com to purchase your tickets today.
You go tell Frank Robinson he's the smallest nesting doll. You'll get the glare.
I'm not telling Frank that.
Chad Cordero, the chief.
He'd say a nesting what?
So it's Matt Thornton, Blake Trinan as well. There's that high strike that Hunter Wendelstedt's been calling all night long. Pretty good hack, way out ahead. Solarte 0 for 1 with a sac fly. I mean, very economical tonight. He's got a chance to throw 6 innings on about, I don't know, 12 to 13 pitches per frame. I'm telling you, he's got some kind of off-speed stuff. Going to the outside edge against these left-handed batters. Is he staying in? We'll find out in a moment. Nobody on deck yet. Bottom of the 7th, Michael A. Taylor leads off. And it looks like Joe Ross's evening is over. Clint Robinson steps out. 6 innings, 77 pitches.
He was as good as we've seen him, and close to a no-hitter.
Yeah, how about that?
A bunt single is all the Padres had tonight off of Joe Ross.
He retired 9 of the first 10 hitters. And then after the walk, he retired 9 of the next 10. And about to depart after 6 really great innings. 2-1 to Taylor. Ground ball and an intentional walk. And Michael A. fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the Nats box score. Harper Escobar hits in the first. Worth in the 3rd, and then it all came together for the Nats when they loaded the bases up. Escobar hit by a pitch. Zimmerman a hard base hit to center. And the reason Melvin Upton threw out Harper was because Ryan hit the ball so hard, and then Upton made a good throw. Taylor gone, 1 out, 6th inning.
You know, I'm wondering if there's people out there thinking that the bunt single should have been ruled an error, and I think they absolutely got it right. You know, generally speaking, the first hit of a game, you make it be a clean single, but Spangenberg was getting it down the line, and if you watch the replay, there's no way that Wilson Ramos was going to get him. So if you're thinking this should have been an error, look at where Spangenberg is. Look at the throw. Yeah. I mean, I think he would have beat it. I think they got it right. But that close to a no-hitter. Or at least a potential no-hitter.
Yeah, he wouldn't be coming out after 6 if that was the case. So here's Clint Robinson. He skies one to left. First at bat ever against Andrew Cashner, and Justin Upton puts it away. 2 outs here, bottom 6, and the Nats about to go to the bullpen for the rest of the night as Casey Jansen's the only man up.
Celebrate the end of an amazing summer at the Fitz. Half the Nationals are there. Their last home games of 2015. Fan Appreciation Week, September 1st through the 7th. Weekend fireworks, $1 tickets, Monday, September 7th. For all your ticket promotional information, visit PotomacNationals.com.
There's Casey. Andrew Cashner, 107 pitches in 5 innings. And his skipper Murphy brings him out for the 7th, or rather the 6th.
Yeah, they're down a man in the bullpen tonight, so. And then Benoit might have the night off too, because he's pitched a few in a row, so he's trying to get as many innings out as his starter as he can.
So a new season high for the 28-year-old right-hander. A 1-1 pitch. Worth, left center, heading for the bullpen, and it is gone. Jason Worth, 4th of the year, first since his return, and he gives the Nats a 2-run lead.
The Worthquake, check it out. That's a big run.
And one correction on that. He did homer against Johan Flande of Colorado 18 days ago. So Worth, 2nd of the year since his return, and 4 total.
That one felt good. He got all of that. I mean, it's a cold night here, a cool night, I should say, and the ball really hasn't been traveling. There's been some well-hit balls that have gone to the track tonight, but he got every bit of that one to just get it out into the Padres bullpen and give the Nats a 2-run lead.
Anthony Rendon, 0-2 to him, and that'll back him off.
That's not on purpose. Cashner's just gassed. He's tired. 120 pitches. Probably not on his legs like he's used to being.
And Rendon will take one right under his glove into center field. And Anthony Rendon is a whisker away from a 3-for-4 night here.
I'll check out the Jason Worth Tater. From one beard to another. You see the run on that? He just beat him to the inside. Fastball, shoots it out of here, makes it a 3-1 game. The way Justin Upton took a route to that, he was kind of tricking me into thinking that might not get out of here. He kind of cruised to that ball, and I thought, is this going? Jason Worth knew as soon as he hit it. And that's a smart hitting coach, sitting by the guy that just hit the home run. Nice. That way, Rick Shue. Just a stall piece to get into the bullpen.
Have a right-hander, Bud Norris, throwing. Their only lefty, Mark Zepchinski, has pitched in both games of this series, and Price had a base hit against the lefty. So here he is with a perfect get-on-base night. 2 singles around a double. And now after that long pause and stall piece, it'll be the San Diego interim manager, Pat Murphy, coming to the mound to get Cashner. Tried to get one more inning out of him. He came up 1 out short. Nats got him for 9 hits tonight. And Jason Worth leaving the yard for the 4th time this year. And for Worth, 374th career home run, flying through the night. .90 to correct that number. And the Nats have gone deep now 128 times on the year. Every time it happens, $250 to the Children's National Health System. Great cause, and it's brought to you by Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. Bud Norris signed with the Padres on August 11th. He'd been let go by the Orioles earlier this summer, and he gets the assignment to face Bryce Harper.
Yeah, fastball slider change. Fastball averages 94, slider 85, change 85. 26 appearance, and opponents hitting 312 off Bud Norris.
Norris appeared in the 6th inning and got roughed up on Tuesday night. He walked Escobar, Zimmerman's grand slam, Desmond a hit, ground out Ramos.
So a couple strange things going on right here. There was something about the Jason Worth home run that I want to show you that was strange. And how many times have you seen a manager bring in a right-hander to face Bryce Harper this year? I don't think I've seen it once.
Yeah, the problem when you only have one lefty in your bullpen. And he's worked in the series a couple of times. Anthony Rendon, quite a night. Bryce Harper, quite a night. 1-0 pitch. Way inside, gets away, and down to second goes Rendon, which might alter how they pitch to Harper.
I think it hit him.
Oh, it did hit him. So Bryce is going to first.
Or did it? Wait, hold on. Well, let's look at it together.
No sign from the umpire.
Bryce is going to first.
He is.
You can challenge that.
So Worth has doubled the lead. And now with 2 outs, Danny Espinosa gets his first at bat of the night. 2 career hits and a couple of walks against Bud Norris. Serious heat from Norris at 97.
But Norris was looking over to his dugout like, hey, I thought that was a strike.
One-two pitch with 2 outs. Danny Espinosa takes another one to even things up. Another great take. Tell you, Bud Norris trying to throw darts all around home plate here. Three-two runners will be on the move. We have an action pitch coming up here. Espinosa looking to get it in play.
'98 from Bud Norris. I don't remember him throwing this hard.
Do not either with the Astros or the Orioles.
Come out of that bullpen, you really don't have to leave anything in the tank. He's letting it rip.
There's the entire at bat from Mercedes-Benz. Everything low except for that first pitch. Got him on the off speed. Nationals have stranded 10 runners tonight.
Well, check out Jason Swartho's home run. What does he do different here? There was no bat fling. I think that's the first home run I've ever seen him hit without the bat fling, but it still counts, and it was a good swing. of Arlington, Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria, 3-1 Nats, heading to the top of the 7th inning. Jason Worth with a homer in the bottom of the 6th to make it 3-1.
Yeah, a little breathing room after the Nats have been on the doorstep of big innings a couple of times. Casey Janssen in, Justin Upton faces him. Career matchup 0 for 2. Casey got him a couple of nights ago. And a swing and a miss.
And without that homer, you might be sweating this at bat a little bit more in a 2-1 game than a 3-1 game.
That's trying to help their teammate Joe Ross get back to 500 on the 1-loss record. Upton a walk and a strikeout tonight in the series. 2 for 9. Both homers, 3 RBIs, 5 strikeouts.
The old tie your shoe, pick up the ball, and throw a quick pitch. No. Double not though.
Count evens 2-2. Off speed, a dandy, 74 miles an hour. And the Nats have struck out 8 Padres tonight. 7 of them from Joe Ross, FP, in 6 brilliant innings.
I'll show you the last few strikeouts. I mean, it's all about strike one with Joe Ross, just pounding the strike zone. I mean, whether it was with the fastball, which I thought was his best pitch tonight. Even though the slider was good, that fastball was jumping at 95, and as a hitter, you had to respect it. You had to start your swing early, which eventually opened up the slider, and he got a lot of swings and misses with it with 2 strikes.
There's Yonder Alonso against Casey Janssen. Casey got him to ground out 2 nights ago.
I mean, this is the plan, right? Ahead after 6 and then 3 closers.
Yeah.
Casey Janssen, Drew Storn, and Jonathan Papelbon. Short games.
Had another hitter way out in front. Jose Valentin really didn't want to have anything to do with that. First base coach of the Pods.
And you love Casey Jansen's attitude toward this whole thing. He said, hey, there's meaningful outs in the 7th inning of a close game too. So, you know, when you're a closer, you're used to having that adrenaline rush of the 9th and the responsibility of the last 3 outs. And he knows, he's been around, that there's just as important outs with a 2 or 3 run lead in the 7th.
Two pitch with 1 out. Right in there. Alonso frozen. Casey Janssen. 2 straight strikeouts.
This was a Vente vanilla iced coffee. Add a shot from the human cup of coffee. Backdoor cutter that started off the plate for strike 3. Time for Toyota Case for Kids. $37 donation by DC Toyota dealers to the Children's Inn and NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
There's Melvin Upton. 0 for 7 in the series. He'll jack one way out there to center. Taylor watching it, running, can't get it. Slams into the wall. His spikes took a bit out of that padding, and heading for third base is Upton. And Jason Worth will run over and check on Michael A. Taylor, who went into that wall hard. Saw his spikes go into the padding there and tear it up a bit.
Just the wind knocked out of him, or is it his leg? What an effort by Michael Taylor. Selling out.
There's where his spikes got the padding.
Taking inventory. It's a good sign. I'm saying that's good. Don't even try it.
Well, the Nats only have one true outfielder left, of course. That's Denard Span. I asked Trey Turner today if he'd ever played the outfield. He said he did quite a bit, but that was prior to his professional career. And we'll see what happens here if Taylor has to come out.
Checking his kneecap. Tell you what, there's padding on that fence, folks, but when you're going that fast, full speed, it doesn't matter.
Michael's knee looks pretty stiff.
Well, he took a couple steps and he's feeling it.
The other possibility would be Danny Espinosa going into the outfield, and maybe Harper or Worth moving over, and Turner on the infield. The Nats only have, other than Jose Lobaton, Trey Turner, and if he's available, Denard Span.
I think the main concern is about Michael Taylor's well-being right now after crashing into that fence.
They'll get him over to the bullpen. Yeah. They can put him on a cart to the clubhouse from there. So here comes Turner.
And Espinosa is going to the outfield.
So it looks like Danny will go to left, Worth to right, and Harper to center.
That thing's buckling on him. I mean, you can't run into a wall any harder than he did. And the fact that he's walking at all right now is kind of shocking to me. Watch the effort, folks. Michael A. Taylor going all out. Took a peek. Here comes the wall. And it was his right knee that took the divot out of the wall. I thought it was going to be his ankle initially. That's what I was worried about. But you watch the right knee, full speed. And you hope all the internal organs are okay too. I mean, that's like getting in a car accident right there, coming to a full stop after going full speed. So you hope everything besides the knee is okay, and you see everybody helping him to the clubhouse.
So Danny Espinosa to left field. Bryce Harper to center. Jason Worth, familiar territory for him in right field. It's Alexi Amarista being hit now by Jed Jerko, who homered off of Casey Jansen here 2 nights ago, and there's Jason at right. Trey Turner, second base. Jed Jerko solo home run off Casey Jansen, 2 outs in the 7th inning here Tuesday night. Nats were way ahead at the time. Breaking ball in the dirt, and suddenly a guy swinging the bat pretty well, who hit 2 home runs in that game, represents the tying run.
Boy, you just heard a scouting report there on our mics. Did you hear that? Slow breaking ball. Don't give up on the front door cutter.
There's hitting coach Mark Kotze to Hedges on deck. He's been given the high strike tonight. Three-two pitch with a runner at third and 2 outs. Jerko, unbelievable grab. Rendon throws him out, saving a run in a 2-run game. And Anthony Rendon just moments ago, because of Escobar's injury, had to go over to third base.
Well, that doesn't just save a run. That saves the tie-in run from get to second base. A one-hop bullet, not a problem. Anthony Rendon, professional third baseman, with one of the best reaction plays you'll see all year on a nasty hop. What a play.
That gets us to the 100.
In a 3-2 game with a runner on second base represent the tie and run if Anthony Rendon doesn't pull this out of his back pocket. To the backhand side, in between hop, with some top spin on it, so the ball actually kind of picks up a little bit of speed right there. Gets up, throws a strike to Ryan Zimmerman, and Casey Jansen wants a piggyback right in the dugout. He's so happy. Don't hurt him. What a play by Anthony Rendon.
Clint Barmas on a double switch will bat ninth and play short. Kevin Quackenbush will get the call. It'll be his 43rd appearance. And Ryan Zimmerman upstairs. See you later. He finally hit one where they couldn't catch it. An 8 RBI 3-game series against San Diego.
Ball was kissed. He hit that ball hard his first time up to center field tonight, then a clutch single in the 5th, and now a homer, his 11th of the year. And when he's hitting him that way, he's absolutely locked.
Wow. Had Ryan Zimmerman 11th of the year, RBIs number 56 and 57 tonight. 23 since he came off the disabled list.
Nobody took his helmet off because the helmet taker offer guy's in the batter's box right now, and he left it on. I think he wanted to just go hit again. When you're that hot, you just want to take cuts and hit again.
We're at home. I mean, the single he hit last time up, the fly ball in the first, just centering the ball. Ian Desmond down on strikes. First out, 7th inning. And what a turnaround with the run or runs Rendon saved, and then the one Zimmerman gets.
And the effort by Michael Taylor, don't forget that. You know, a guy going all out for a ball like that can really inspire a ball club. When you see somebody playing that hard, smack into a fence like that, and then Rendon with the play on defense, got this crowd into it. Now Ryan Zimmerman with the tater. Now you need the Phillies to score a run.
Yeah, 5-5 in that ball game, top of the 8th. Ramos 0 for 3 tonight. The Nationals have now hit 129 home runs. That ball is scorched. Wilson Ramos into the hit column with a loud single to left. And we'll see Trey Turner come up in the ball game already as the second baseman.
He's due for his first big league hit, don't you think?
Yeah, it's about time.
I'll tell you what, this team gets hot. It could be a fun September. And if you've jumped off the bandwagon, I can't help you. There's no more room to get back on. Sorry.
Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Trey Turner is a big league hitter, 0 for 4. Doug Fister to pitch hit in the pitcher spot because Jose Lobaton's the only remaining player available, and obviously Denard Span is not. And that's an easier call to make when you're ahead by 3. One ball, 2 strikes. It's in there. Four-1 Nats. They've out-hit the Padres 11-2. High and tight, counts even. So Drew, if it's probably still within 3 runs, Blake Trinan if it goes to 5-1 or beyond. Trey Turner was the 13th overall player taken by the Padres last year out of NC State.
And had he known that Hunter Wendelstedt was calling that pitch all night, he might have swung. But he catches a break and a big 3-2 pitch coming. I mean, it's been a ball at times, and it was a ball right there.
3-2 with 1 out. Fly ball to right. Little play for Travis Jankowski. 2 outs, and Doug Fister will be the pinch hitter in the number 9 spot.
Watch every Auto Market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Doug Fister 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter this year. 7 hits overall. Strike 1.
didn't have Doug in my left-handed extra list today for pinch hitters,
yeah,
but I'll put him in there.
I was just thinking it was unusual for me to go over to the bullpen box on the other side of the scorebook, cross out Pfister because he's coming in to hit. And in this case, he gets nasty pitched by Kevin Quackenbush. Ryan Zimmerman this year is averaging roughly an RBI every 6 at-bats. And he puts the Nats on top, 4-1 into the 8th.
By Miller Lite, and we're going to go back to Mr. Clutch. In the 5th inning, base hit up the middle. That would score Anthony Rendon. Bryce Harper got thrown out by Melvin Upton. Pretty good pick by Austin Hedges. Would have put the Nats up 2-1. Now it's 4-1. So Ryan Zimmerman having a big night here tonight.
Drew Storen, 8th inning last night. 1-2-3, Alonso, Hedges, and Barmes. Tonight he'll face Hedges, Barmes, and Jankowski in a setup situation.
Opponent's hitting .223 against the 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, cut fastball, slider, change combination.
Austin Hedges 0 for 2.
Now to put a patch up on the wall. You're just hoping that Michael Taylor didn't hit one of the poles behind the padding. That's where it gets tricky as an outfielder. You think there's padding there, and there's poles supporting that fence. So you run into the pad, and it's all you feel instantly is that metal pole on the back side of the fence that's holding it up. And if his knee went into that, then you got problems. You can kind of see that pole right down there. That goes straight up. And that's from behind. You can see the vertical pole and the horizontal pole right here, and they're in the fence. And that would just be unlucky if that's where his kneecap hit, because he was holding his kneecap.
You know, we saw where the spikes ripped the wall open. I wonder if the indentation above that to the left is from the knee.
Yeah.
Drew Storen 0-2 on Hedges. And he gets a pop-up to the right side. Ryan Zimmerman under it. Foul ball. 1 out. Next up, the shortstop, Clint Barmes.
Yeah, I think that is where his knee hit.
Last night, Barmes against Drew Storen, called out on strikes. Late with that one on 93.
nasty.
That slider.
83, watch the break on this slider, and he's kind of getting on top of that. I have a lot of leg break. You couldn't see it on the Exmo, but that was a quick slider.
And then that ball to left. Stopping, catching, Danny Espinosa. 2 outs.
All right.
Change positions, and the ball will find you.
And he'll make the play. You know that.
He will.
All right, it's time for your T-Mobile fan photo. All right, we got a couch cam. Well, don't worry, kids. That dog is just sleeping. Will, well, I can't say the last name. Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. It's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Facciolo.
Yeah, I was going to say
Italian.
That.
Come on.
I just didn't want to mess it up. Might be swimming in the Anacostia.
There's Travis Jankowski 0 for 3. Looks like Drew Storen's getting his mojo back. And the 1-1 popped up left side. No chance for Rendon, way out of play.
And you're just hoping that Denard Span, the reason he's not in the game right now is because with the back thing, he can't get loose that quick, and it's nothing worse than that.
Well, and that shows you how a guy like Danny Espinosa can help a ball club. You can plug him in just about anywhere.
So who has the best arm in the outfield, Danny Espinosa or Bryce Harper?
Now that is a good question. Two with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 8th. Three-2 pitch. And Drew Storen threw a strike. It's going to carry to Danny Espinosa.
Not a problem.
He's right there to grab it. A 1-2-3 8th inning. Drew Storen appears to be back on his game. Top of the order ahead for the Nats. Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
4-1 as we go to the bottom. They got to show you Danny Espinosa coming off the field. I mean, everybody knows that the low line drive to an outfielder is the trickiest play, and he just played that flawlessly. So watch the love he gets in the dugout. Steven Strasburg right there on the top step. Drew Storm says nice play. Put him anywhere, he's going to make the play.
Another inning of work for Kevin Quackenbush here.
And you kind of make light of it, but if he shows he can play out there, he might start in left tomorrow. You never know how Denard Span is feeling.
Right. Wishing the best for Michael A. Taylor right now. Jason Worth 2 for 3, single, walk, homer, 2 runs scored. Phillies didn't score in the bottom of the 8th. It's 5-5 with the Mets coming up against Ken Giles of the Phils.
Leadoff man
on. Worth reaching out, hitting a fly ball right field side, and Jankowski has really got some great speed, covers that for the out.
Be sure to text Masson's word of the day, Sonata, or Pinata, whatever you decide. Just text it to 29292 for your chance to win a meet and greet with Anthony Rendon, brought to you by Hyundai. Visit your local Washington area Hyundai dealers for summer clearance sales event. That's Sonata, rhymes with Pinata, and I have no clue.
And don't wait till mañana to do it. Anthony Rendon, 2 for 4 night. Harper will bat in this inning. Anthony fighting off a low 90s fastball that was coming in on him. Jonathan Papelbon. Save situation right now with a 4-1 score. He's had 3 as a Nat. Check swing, emergency hack of sorts to stay alive.
Like you said earlier, a little bit of luck and he'd be 3 for tonight on that catch, no catch that Melvin Upton made in the 3rd inning. Jason Worth got caught in between, couldn't find an umpire to make a call.
Anthony still 9 for his last 24. He's been on base 13 of his last 22 plate appearances. They're becoming a big time presence in that number 2 hole again. 2-2 pitch. Hot shot. Barmer's got it and then got up and threw him out. Boy, we have seen some good defense tonight and in this series by both ball clubs. Left-hander Adam Conley for the Marlins tomorrow night to take on Max Scherzer and the Nats. Max has beaten Miami twice this year with a 3.21 ERA. Johnny and Ray from the ballpark, 6:30 p.m. Nats Extra. We'll join you from the booth at 7, and Max will fling that first one about 7:05 tomorrow night. Opener of a 3-game set with the Fish. Nats owe them a couple. Miami leads the season series 5-4. Though Washington took 2 out of 3 from them earlier here. Right now, Bryce on top of the batting race with a 2 for 2 night. a walk and a hit bat. Actually, the ball hit him, hit batter back in the 6th. His on-base percentage is going to be back up around .460 or better. Hitting almost 600 against the Padres. 0-2. I tell you, they've had him to 2 strikes a bunch in this series, and he almost got another hit in that count. We're going top 9. Jonathan Papelbon on to preserve a 4-1 lead. Ball on Masson, brought to you by Land Rover. Above and beyond. Gorgeous night for baseball. 4-11-1 Nats. 1-2-0 Padres. Been a rough night in some respects.
Yeah, you're just hoping a couple of ball players are okay. First, Junel Escobar diving out for the slider. Got an Andrew Cashner fastball up and in. That hit him on the hand. We had a shot of him at third base. It was swollen. There it is. So he left the game. And then Michael A. Taylor, watch his cleat catch and his knee kind of twist at an awkward angle. And so initially I was thinking it was the knee and the impact with the indentation. But when you look at it a few more times, that cleat catches the wall. And there's a funny twist to the knee, and we hope both of them are okay. What an effort by Michael Taylor.
Yeah, the cut in the padding patched up, the knee mark above it. And here's Jonathan Papelbon. 2-3-4 for the Padres. Corey Spangenberg leads off top 9.
The opponent's hitting .206 this year against Papelbon. Right-hander's just .163.
Papelbon had a 1-2-3 ninth here last night in a 6-5 loss. So Larte, one of the batters, he retired on a fly ball to left. He's on deck with Spangenberg coming in. So the count 2-0. Gets the call on the outside edge. Mets did not score in the top of the ninth at Philly.
A 3-run lead, make him swing it. No free passes.
Now power hitter 2 spots away with Upton. You don't want anybody on base when he's in there. And Papelbon will throw 91 past the rookie Spangenberg. 4-1 Nats trying to win their 64th game of the year and go 2 games over 500. That was really close. Right near the edge, down around the knees. Leadoff walk.
Well, where did this pitch miss? That side of the plate's been open all night for Hunter Wendelstedt. Not right there, and a leadoff walk for the Padres here in the top of the 9th.
That'll get a manager pacing. This guy made a good pitch. Solarte 0 for 2, sac fly. He was in the leadoff spot last night when Papelbon popped him up to left.
Looks like the Padres are taking a strike all the way until the tying run gets to the plate. That's a balk.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're even worried about a runner up by 3. And I don't think Ryan Zimmer was even on the bag, was he?
Can't fake a throw to first.
Well, this is just a brain cramp by Jonathan Papelbon. There's no need to throw to first. And usually there's a discussion between a first baseman and a pitcher saying, hey, I'm playing behind him. And he shakes his head, yeah, but all right.
Well, that takes away the double play possibility on a ground ball. Runner at second, nobody out. And that ball hit pretty well out to center. Bryce Harper right there for the first out. Johnny Holiday, Ray Knight. Nats extra coming. A very important now, Justin Upton cannot tie the game against Papelbon career. He's 4 for 12 with a home run, 3 RBIs. Jonathan has struck him out 5 times. Got the call on the outside edge.
That's the same pitch that he threw for ball 4 to Corey Spangenberg in the same exact spot. He might have even been a little bit further outside.
Pretty good breaking ball. He really had Upton uncertain and locked up right there. Man, things are getting tight.
So strike 1, you see where it is. And ball 1 even closer to the plate.
Papelbon, a little smile of disbelief. Keeps pumping strikes.
intense.
Wow.
I thought that one might have been further out than the other two. I don't think that one's a strike. Matt Williams can't see what we're about to see, but I think this one's the furthest outside of them all.
Correct you are. Yonder Alonso on deck. 3-2 with one out to Justin Upton, who has 22 home runs. And he will get him on a nasty breaking ball. 2 outs. A great pitch by Papelbon.
Well, that's where you see, all the veteran presence. 3-2. He's got confidence in that slider to throw right there in a big situation. Maybe a younger closer says, all right, I'm up by 3. Here's your 3-2 fastball. Hit it. Papelbon goes 3-2 slider for the punch out.
Nats trying to make it a 4-2 homestand. 1 out to get. Yonder Alonso against Jonathan Papelbon. 0 for 2 career. Strike 1. Crowd of 28,908 on their feet, and that's ball 2. Base hit right field. Worth will not charge the ball and give the batter a chance to get to second. They'll just return it in there. Now it's a 4-2 game. Melvin Upton tripled off the center field wall, on which Michael Taylor was hurt last time up. Upton is 3 for 19 career against Jonathan Papelbon with 10 strikeouts. Represents the tying run.
Now Ryan Zimmerman holding Alonso on.
Upton, broken bat. It's going to hit the ground, take a hop, and taken care of by Trey Turner. And the Nats put this one away. They win another series. That's 3 in a row. Now they have to hope for a little help up the road in Philadelphia.
Well, they got the shutdown performance from Joe Ross that they desperately needed. And the bats were alive tonight. 11 hits, 4 runs, and Ryan Zimmerman, the offensive hero.
Padres strand 4 base runners on the night. The Nats 11, but they played it enough runs to win by 2. Great pitching tonight. Papelbon gets his 4th save as a National.